What's up, guys, and thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with us over at Fasterproms. In this episode, we are tackling my dad's Corvette, which is called the Legend, and we're finally getting a big hurdle that we had for the longest time addressed, and now we're moving on to the next phase of the project. But first, I've got one of the coolest Fords I have ever worked on, doing some stuff I've never done before. I want to take you guys to check this out. What's going on, guys? Got a very interesting car right here. This is a 1964 Ford Falcon. This thing is absolutely stunningly beautiful. I wish you could see this in person. We have a major problem with this thing. I started to tune this. It's on a Holly, and it's got a Borla injection system on it. And after spending all this amount of money on this car, we put it on the dyno, made 320 something horsepower. Now, needless to say, the guy would be a little bit disappointed. However, what we just found out is that we were only at about 2/3 throttle. So this is a bit tricky, and Keith is particularly grumpy today, but it's gonna be all right. We've tried to change the linkage down on the pedal right there, and no luck. That is kind of a weird terminating end over there. But now what we have to do is we have to get down in there and get that guy off. There's a brass nut over there. We're gonna have to take the slop and the pedal out from there. Now this thing is amazingly responsive, and I just really wanted to share this with you guys because it's such a rare opportunity. I actually did a video way back a long time ago, and the audio was so bad I had to scrap the video. But it was a GT40 with this Borla injection system on it, replica car, and it sold for like $350,000 right after I got done tuning it. It was an amazing car because it was like first gear went to like 80 miles an hour, second gear was 120 miles an hour. I actually had to dyno it in second gear. All right, so this is how much throttle we got right now, and it's limiting us to 320 some odd horsepower. 300, that's it. So we're probably about 60% throttle. We tried to mess around with the linkage, and we're either getting part in the right direction, and then we started to get that side out of adjustment. But now
we have to get those little washers.
Oh, it's got washers in there too?
Yeah.
And they're stainless too? There you get that.
Yeah.
So this thing really didn't even have a fingerprint on it, and unfortunately it's gonna have a whole bunch of smudges and all that junk out of it. There's one.
I can get the outer ones, you get the inner ones.
Oh, that's gonna be tough. You got one of them stainless steel magnets?
Got a couple of them. None of them work.
We had a little problem with our Crown Vic tearing something apart, and we had dropped a nut down in there, and it was one of my son's friends who was helping out, and everybody was like bashing us about something. Why didn't you just put a magnet in there? Well, I mean, it needed one of those stainless steel magnets. All right, so getting the bolts off is the easy part, but trying to get that guy out is not. Now, outer side, easy part. Inside, not easy part. We got all our nuts and washers off, and that was a little bit tricky, but found a little method that works. Still got the linkage that we got to figure out how to tear apart, but we are just about there.
Oh, okay, there's one. Now we got to get that. We have to get that bolt out. And then, where's the other one at? I can't see it, but it's right there. Let's get the bolts out. Now.
So, look at that. The zip tie.
Oh,
Look at that guy.
Don't even tell me.
Wow, that moves so easy. As long as we get this here, it's going to be hard for it to pull out, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Okay, what if we loosen that up and just pull this and tighten it back up?
That's exactly what we need to do, actually.
Okay.
We just move that out just a little bit, and hopefully we're going to see We'll put it all back on real quick here, see where we're at. Hell, we could just try one side, and we might have to adjust our linkage back if we went too far. I can't tell you how hard it's been to get that one little bolt right there. I just got it with my fingers. I've been having to use a screwdriver to get this thing to push back because our linkage is not quite lining up, and I just got that. But dude, that's gotta be what? Are we at least 20 minutes on this one? Yeah. Smooth sailing. So nice. All right, so we gotta tighten that guy down.
Why don't we test it here?
All right, let's test it. Go ahead. Woo! We are like 95% there. Let's make sure there's no obstructions. Here, I'm gonna see about. Oh, that ain't even going anymore.
We're good?
I can't even open it anymore. I'd call it 100 then.
Call that 100%.
95, 100. Well, hell, it's a lot better than what it was. Time to get this thing back on the dyno and find out what kind of power this thing makes. Dude, that was some hard work for just the throttle linkage. Shoot. Oh, God, you all right? You're probably gonna be bloody. Oh, jeez. All right, yeah, I forgot. This is gonna take a little while to get back those on too. Crap. You could.
You got your inside washer? I mean, nuts on?
Yeah. She ran on somebody's parade here.
Okay. This here we can start to tighten up, I do believe. Make sure they're all on okay. Woo! Yeah, baby. I'm gonna check my inner ones first.
Throttle responsive. So much bottom end torque. All right, fellas, so this was our old pull right there. The first one, 322, 344. And this is our new pull right here, 359, 357. And as you can see, we picked up over 34 horsepower just on adjusting the throttle there. Now we're gonna change the timing a little bit. I'm actually gonna run a little bit less because I kind of don't think that it was really filling the cylinder as well. So we're gonna run a little bit less timing, give it a shot, and see if it picks up any, but show you the inside of this thing. It is gorgeous. Beautiful car. Put the 36 back on the bottom, I think we'll be set, but it made 36 and a half on the top.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, 360. horsepower and 354 torque.
Now, taking that Falcon for a rip was absolutely awesome. It was not at all like the power of what it laid down. It felt like it was about 150 horsepower more. I don't know if it was how light it was and the gearing and so on and so forth, but it ripped. Now, the gentleman that owned it, he was probably late 60s. When he picked up the car, he like drifted it outside and burned out about a quarter mile down the road with the car. It was hilarious, and he did not see that coming. Now, another little update real quick here with when I had tuned Keith's car, a video that we did just a little while ago. And done some tuning on it, made about 1050 or so. He just went out to his first event and actually won his first event with it. I'm so proud of him, and we're so happy with the overall performance of it. But now, let's go check out what we're doing with the Legend.
To the milling rim. Looks like you got C4 parts in there.
Oh yeah. Taming it down a little bit.
So we're modifying this to work with the 6L80 to fit in the, go up by the adapter bracket. That's the transmission side, right?
Yes.
That somebody knows how to use a Bridgeport. So he's actually figured out we're using a 4-wheel drive adapter tail shaft housing.
Yep.
And we're gonna, you already modified that a little bit, and we're gonna be welding in a piece of channel into that.
Yep, and that's gonna mount right up to it.
Sounds good. We'll get you guys caught up on C4. I know you've been wanting to see more and more of it.
All right, so I've been wanting to see what this thing looks like incredibly bad. I've been out of town for a little while here, and all the work that Dave did, and Laz helping him out, I'm pretty pumped to see what this looks like. This is a major thing that was holding us up. We were really trying to get back to this for a while. We've had a whole bunch of other projects that we've been knocking out, and just this major step
He
checked off.
He came on with his background. He's like, yeah, we can figure that out. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were sitting here kind of like, well, I think we could triangulate maybe a hexagon off that and then maybe do something, but no, that looks...
So
it looks like that's gonna engineer work.
I went to Alro locally, and I was like, got in their scrap bin, and I was like, this looks good, maybe this, and just got like a pile of like 6-7 different pieces. And we came up with the C channel in here. It was a little bit narrow, but ended up actually, you see these welds here of spacers to match the width of this. We are gonna get sleeves and put on here so it doesn't crush down when we tighten it, 'cause it's just, you know, it's loose right now. We did decide, we talked originally about going with this 4-wheel drive adapter where a transfer case would typically bolt on there. So this is the regular output yoke for the 2-wheel drive Camaro, or I think this is the Caprice one actually. That is still going to work. It doesn't get a seal on it anymore because the seal is going to be back there on the actual shaft. So that with the Sonex adapter is going to give us to a regular dry shaft, so we'll have a slip dry shaft.
What's interesting about this is, like, you've been messing around with your transmission a couple times, so it's like you got a couple steps figured out as far as where the seals and how you move things and so on and so forth. So,
well, looking into the Jeep stuff and figuring out what swap I was going to do with that, people were like, hey, you can take a 2-wheel drive and modify it to 4-wheel drive. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to get a 4-wheel drive for my Jeep. And then I ended up getting a 2-wheel drive for my truck, so I ended up modifying it. And I used that information from the Jeep world. It worked perfectly fine on the truck, so we know it's going to work on this. It's the same transmission.
beautiful. That's adapting and overcoming 100%. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we get something that might not be the ideal thing, but we make it work. Once we get those sleeves in there, we can have a drive shaft made, and then we get Matt back over here, which leads us to the next thing, Hill. So I just got a shifter, of which I'm going to show you guys here and now. Well, after a bit of deliberation and a lot of thinking, LOJ came up with the perfect shifter for what we need to do for our application. So again, that's Steven from LOJ, of where we got our 370Z. He's helped us out a bunch in the past with so many different projects. So we got our CAN translator here, as well as our low car shifter that has been modified. So this is going to be able to have 3 shift modes, very much just like a factory Camaro or Corvette. So we have our regular shifting that we can pull down in there, so our Prindle, and then we have our tap up, tap down mode, so we can go up and down that way as well. And we can also set up a remote mount system such that we can, and we also have the wiring ability right here to be able to do a remote mount system. And we're looking for a pretty cool way on how to do our tap up, tap down as well. So back to those 3 different modes, we can have our normal drive mode, and we can have a little bit of a sporty mode, which is kind of like tripping the tow haul mode, and then we have our tap up, tap down. So we can have 3 different very characteristics of what we want to involve with how I can set up the tune. And you guys know I'm all about the adjustability and different flavors, so that's going to be really cool. We can have it shift really nice and normal under X conditions, and under race conditions, just slide it over and it's going to shift like absolute crazy.
Did a couple things on the top side. We did get the adapter to get the knock sensor back here to clear the oil pan. It's a little bit funky. I don't know if you can even see it up in here.
Oh yeah, I do. Yep,
just to space it out past the oil pan. The intake manifold is now on the motor. We're ready to drop the distributor in. Yeah, it's still sitting there on the table. The distributor delete, the oil pump drive. We got the crank position sensor. We need to mill that. I believe I came up with a measurement of 90 thousandths to get it to sit deeper in there. So that's next on the plate to do.
And I wanted to mention that we got a bunch of new stuff from BenPack.
No more having to pick up the 20-gallon one we had and drain it in the drain. We just took air to this and pop, pop, pop.
So we're really excited about a lot of our new equipment as well, and that's going to make our job around here a lot easier.
This side, the spacer's on, sealed, bolted down, ready for valve cover. The intake's on. That side is still yet to do. Didn't know if we had to pull this exhaust off again or not, so I didn't want to tighten that up yet. Looks different with that throttle body on there.
Yeah, I like it. However, I think we got to arrive at a different color since we got like a two-tone throttle body right there.
We might be able to do
again on that note of taking in something that was kind of half working and just making it work. So that's something that we wouldn't actually put on a customer's car, but here it is going to end up on one of ours. So
I'll be able to do like a media blast on it and get it stripped back down. Shifter you're talking about?
No, this is actually not the shifter we were talking about here. We ended up, that is actually, well, we can't even talk about that. That's going to be for another application. We got to get that out of here. We do have another big announcement coming up here very, very shortly on another project. We'll get with that. Put the paddle shift somewhere.
I talked to the creator of that, and he had very awesome things to say about the possibilities of it.
Yes. Exciting new possibilities.
Another note to everybody, when you say, hey, I'm going to take everything apart and I'll remember where it all goes, you're not supposed to let the project sit for a long time.
Yeah, unfortunately that's happened a couple times here. Yeah. Can't wait to have this thing up and running. We're closer now than ever, and that was such a major thing that was holding us up for a long time. But now the fact that the transmission's sitting in there by itself, no straps on there, we can actually move this in and out of the shop again. So that's a big plus. So another thing from BenPack there, we're again super happy to have all this stuff. I mean, this is a really awesome table. We're really pleased with it. I don't even know how much stuff we can put on this, but dude, we could probably put like 2 transmissions on it and wheel it around without a problem.
Yeah, but the main thing about it is that little hole right there.
Oh, yes.
You see this is bent here and here. It lets all the fluid drain into that. I actually used it for kind of like a parts cleaner table on some parts the other day. I just brake cleaned everything off and rolled it in there. So we got a little drainage pan here. We got a drawer for storage. This thing's awesome, and you can move it around.
Yeah.
Put it up in the corner.
You know, personally, I hate shopping carts that are like that, but I like tables that are like that.
4-wheel steer.
Yeah. Hate shopping carts like that. Love tables that are like that. It's like the weirdest thing. It's like it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't like, you know, it wants to go in its own, it's just weird. Maybe it's just me. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video a lot. It has been a while since we cranked out a video. You know, life happens. Had to take a little break from YouTube for a little bit. Just had a ton of stuff going on. So glad to be back, and so glad to hear from you guys. We got some new faces around the shop. I can't wait to introduce you to all those guys. The gentleman that was on the Bridgeport, his name is Dave, and he's been helping out a lot. As always, you guys can follow us on Instagram, so check out some of the stuff that we got going on there, as well as you can show your support through our store at Fasterproms store. Check out the link in the description below. Wanted to leave you guys with a quote here. You know, I've heard it said before that hurt people, but there is something else on the positive side there too. The fact of the matter is that heal people, and that forgiven people forgive people. Song I want to leave you guys with here is Offspring, and that has Gone Away. Hope you guys enjoy. God bless you. We'll see you next episode.
Aw, I love puppies. Dory, you're a bad girl. Yeah, look at what you did. Man, that's got some nice funk right there.